I'd like to talk about paradigm shifts that one has to go through in order to succeed in building your Niwi business. The dictionary defines paradigm shifts as a fundamental change in approach or underlying assumptions. And the reason that this is so important is because everybody's approach in networking has to be correct in order to succeed. Actually, that's the way it should be in anything that you do. The approach has to be correct. Unfortunately, since networking is not taught in school, most people use the approach that they are taught in school. For example, I hear it all over the world, all different countries. Oh, I'm involved now in this networking company. Let's bring in this person, let's bring in that person, because this person has so many contacts. But the thing is, not everybody has many contacts. Because if that were true, then networking would only work for people who have a lot of contacts. But not everybody has a lot of contacts. Or, oh, let's talk to this guy because this guy is good in sales. Now, always remember, statistics will show that 96% of people don't like sales or aren't good at sales. So how do we expect to build a network, a huge network, based on things people don't like to do and people don't have, which is a lot of contacts? That's why there has to be a paradigm shift. Why, for example, do the shoe industries make a lot of money around the world? Because everybody has feet. If everybody has feet, everybody buys shoes. So you need to build on something that everybody has. And that's paradigm shift number one, which is learn how to work with what I call circle of influence, COI. Now, the circle of influence works this way. Everybody has a circle of influence. I've asked people around the world, and some say circle of influence of 20, some say circle of influence of 50, some say circle of influence of 5. Okay, now it really depends. There is no right or wrong answer. Some people have a circle of influence of 200. If you're the CEO of a company, maybe you'll have a circle of influence with 2,000 people. But if you're a homeless guy who lives under a bridge, you probably couldn't even influence yourself. Now, let's assume that everybody has an average of 4. Now, when I say circle of influence, what I mean is people who believe you, people who trust what you say. So in other words, you don't have to make a hard sell presentation. Basically, there are people who believe in you who will say, hey bro, if you're involved in that, I'd like to get involved, which means it's good. That's what I mean by circle of influence. Everybody has a circle of influence. Now, if you learn how to work with your circle of influence and work also with the second component, which is the power of multiplication, you will see that based on this circle of influence and power of multiplication, your network quickly grows. Now, everybody wants to have a huge network. Who doesn't? Okay, everybody who joins Niwi wants to have a big network. But most people approach it the wrong way. If people learn how to work with circle of influence, then it grows naturally. For example, if you have four people who believe in you, who trust what you say, okay, you don't have to make a hard sell. That's 4. That's your first level. Then the 4 will, of course, have their circle of influence also. So now that becomes 16. The 16 will also have a circle of influence of 4. That's 64. Can you see now where this goes? The 64 will also have a circle of influence of about 4 people. So now that's 256. Now remember, in our presentation, we always ask, do you know these 256 people? No, you don't. You only know the 4. And yet, your network is expanding. The 256 goes into 1,000 plus, 4,000 plus, 16,000 plus. Pretty soon, you have 65,000, 250,000 people under you, and you've only introduced the business to 4 people. Now, I'm not saying that you should only introduce the business to 4 people. You can do 5, 6, 7, 8. But what I'm saying is most people have a circle of influence of about 4. Now, based on that, your network will grow, your network will expand. Nobody has to have a lot of contacts. People don't have a lot of contacts. Not everybody has a lot of contacts. So remember, learn how to work with your circle of influence and using the power of multiplication, and that's what's going to make your network grow. And pretty soon you'll see you'll have 200, 300, 400,000 people under you. I myself have experienced this in building. I brought in a company that I worked with before, 2 people, and that grew literally to over 2, 3, 4 million people in 50, 60 countries around the world. But the 2 people I brought in, my cousin and my best friend, lived maybe 20, 30 kilometers away from me. I recently met somebody in Jakarta who has a downline of about 70 to 80,000 people. He only brought in 2 friends. But everybody had that mindset. Everybody bring in at least 2 people. Well, here we're talking about 4. So paradigm shift number 1, a change in assumption, a fundamental change in approach. You don't have to go and recruit 100 people. Bring in 4, help them sponsor 4, help them sponsor 4, and you will see, by everybody working with Circle of Influence, your network will grow, and it'll grow big, and it'll grow fast, actually. And that's paradigm shift number 1.